Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. In this review, we are going to be reviewing books that came out of DC Comics on the week of May 21st, 2014. And let's waste no time and jump right into it because we got a big stack this week. From the Digital First books, we have Batman Beyond Universe, issue number 10, Justice Lords, part 2 of 4. Wonder Woman's back. But in the last issue, the Justice Lords came through right behind her. And in this book, Terry is now stuck in the Justice Lords world. So Terry is with himself, or his own separate, his identity in the Justice Lords world, where basically the Jokers rule over Gotham. And you have the Justice League Beyond versus the Justice Lords Beyond. And it's a crazy fight. Unfortunately, the Justice Lords kind of gain the upper hand, and Batman wants to know why did Wonder Woman come back, and what happened to the Batman and the Batman Beyond one. And we find out that, actually, first of all, Superman shows back up in his world to fight Batman Beyond. And we find out that the Wonder Woman from the Justice Lords world ended up killing Batman. And Wonder Woman ended up killing herself. So basically, in the end, her and Justice Lord Superman end up getting married in order to kind of bridge some type of a peace, or, you know, try to work things out in the Justice Lords world. And we find out, here's a bit of a spoiler, not really, because you guys are already in part 3 of 4. Wonder Woman came back with the rest of the Justice Lords in search of her son.
Wow.
Zod. So, this is definitely turning out to be somewhat of an interesting story. I can't wait to read part 3. Physical copy, of course, because I'm not buying it digitally, and then a physical copy. So I can't wait till next month's Batman Beyond Universe. Definitely one of the stronger Digital First books. The only other book that's stronger than this is Adventures of Superman right now.
Scribblenauts Unmasked, issue number 5.
For the kids.
Yep, we got lots of stuff going on here. We have Maxwell and Flash, where it starts off, who are going to catch the Weaponeers before they reach the Science Spire, and they get a little bit distracted along the way, and he has his little dinosaur friend Maxwell to help him go faster and everything else. Superman also helps them out, and there are villains that they have to defeat, which were the Atrocitus and Sinestro. And here's some artwork right here. There is a lot of dialogue in this, but I'm just going to give you a brief short of what's going on. Basically, Lily's telling Maxwell that he is going to the Phantom Zone with Batman, Steve Trevor, and Wonder Woman, while Phantom Stranger watches the Watchtower, and things don't turn out so well at Watchtower, so Maxwell wants to go back to Earth. Also, Lobo actually is in the Scribblenauts debut. Yeah, and Zod, by the way. And when they go to the Phantom Zone, you know Zod, he said, "You all kneel before Zod," who hasn't heard that many times before.
Oh, look, it's the Anti-Monitor.
Yeah, and there's the Anti-Monitor, who is actually behind all this stuff that's going on. And things don't go well, not so well in the Phantom Zone for a while. And meanwhile, Maxwell, Superman, and the rest find Lex Luthor and Brainiac, and you know, they're just basically trying to tell them that they want to defeat the Anti-Monitor, which is their objection. Then Doomsday comes in, and then it's just really an all-out war with each other, while Zod says that Lily and the rest are guilty, so things don't look so well. You either have to kneel before Zod, or find a new plan that they won't have to kneel before Zod. So very, very intense, this book. I did leave out a lot of other stuff because it is just so much stuff. But it's good for the kids to read, so definitely can't wait to see what's going to happen next in the Scribblenauts world.
Batman and Frankenstein issue 31. We did Batman and Frankenstein once before, where Batman basically dissected Frankenstein to try to find a way to bring his son back. And when this issue opens up with Batman confronting Frankenstein, yeah, that doesn't go so well. Because Frankenstein didn't forget when Batman tried to dissect him. And first he demanded an apology, which Batman did, and then he asked for the dog to stop gnawing on his leg. So Batman basically gives Frankenstein a sum up of everything that's gone on thus far. So if you want a jumping on point, this is the perfect point to jump on, because you have Batman literally explain everything that Damian and Talia were taken, that he's been chasing Ra's al Ghul everywhere, and it's led him to there, because there is a resurrection pool or a Lazarus pit of sorts there. So Batman is already beaten. Ra's al Ghul is already there. Batman ends up fighting these Sasquatch people, whom he then tries to, or he does, befriend, and then he explains that, you know, he wants to stop Ra's al Ghul from doing whatever it is he's planning to do. They take him, however, as Batman says, it's too late. Is it too late? Are they there still? Or is it too late and they've already left? Which is what I think is what happened. To be continued. I don't know, this felt like a very quick issue. Like, not even quick. It felt super quick. The way I explained this, it took less than a minute. It was a very, very quick issue this week. Doesn't do justice for a 31, but I really feel like it's gone. Supergirl 31, we continue basically Red Lanterns, because this is the Red Lantern story. You have the Red Lanterns now on this planet looking for one of the Red Lanterns, the new Red Lantern, or one of the judges who was just turned into a Red Lantern, and they have to beat Atrocitus to her to stop Atrocitus from taking her on his side. They want to take the Red Lantern for their side. So, yeah, Deck Star.
Yeah.
And then you have Blaze for one page, because this is a Supergirl book and they want to remind us of that, saying she's looking for Supergirl. So you have Supergirl trying to find the Red Lantern. She finds her. This is some really nice artwork, I will say that. And basically she judges everybody because she's a judge. She goes into Supergirl's head and she's about to judge her guilty until for some weird reason her mother breaks out of her memory and stops the judge, and the judge is like, you're innocent, you're dangerous, but innocent. And Supergirl tries to explain to her, because she's still out of control, stay here, and I have this, we have this thing with blood that'll help you, help calm you down. Atrocitus is still out on the planet looking for not only the Red Lantern now, but Kara, and then in hyperspace, the, World Killers show up in, guess which solar system? Earth's. So the World Killers are going to destroy Earth to draw Supergirl out. It's going to be a very interesting story. It's two stories kicked together really, because Blaze and the World Killers obviously are going to be a Supergirl-centric story. But you also have what's going on in Red Lanterns here. Really good book. It's a fight to see who's going to get to the Red Lantern Judge Lady first. And it looks like Guy Gardner might, but Atrocitus is still there, and now he wants to find out. He wants to find Kara as well.
Trinus and Pandora issue number 11. We have about 3 people who are, well actually now 2 people who want to go after Pandora. We have Vintel Savage and Agent Kincaid. So first is Agent Kincaid, who goes after Pandora. Shows some artwork right here, which is really amazing. And basically, Marcus with Pandora is trying to help her after she gets shot. So she finds out Agent Kincaid could do that. But here's the irony. She can turn into A crow. Seriously. Agent Kincaid.
Wow.
And I was shocked. I was like, wow. And then they have a little bit of a talk where she's like saying, you know, you're a monster, because she's saying I'm trying to help people and I suffered a curse and everything else, and she just thinks that she's lying. So now, not only does she have her to deal with, now she has to deal with the worthy foe, Lyndall Savage. With Marcus in the hand, and I hear that he's supposed to die, with this series being canceled. Along with Phantom Stranger.
August.
It's a great read. Guess we'll see what happens next for Pandora and the rest of the people.
So I'm glad Batman Superman issue 11 is not the next story arc. Apparently, you see, every time I see this in the solicits, they're still trying to solicit that story that's supposed to take place after the Worlds Collide story between Superman, Batman, and Power Girl Huntress. But apparently things get in the way. Last issue was The Atom. This issue is Doomed Chapter 3. And ignore Jay Lee's artwork on the cover, because on the inside of this book is anything but Jay Lee's artwork. So Wonder Woman and Batman and Steel go to the Fortress of Solitude. Wonder Woman, Batman, and Krypto enter the Phantom Zone looking for answers. How to cure Superman. And apparently Wonder Woman drops at the Justice League, or Lex Luthor is fighting Superman. But it's a hard fight. We get to see Non for the first time, which is very interesting. Mongol is in the Phantom Zone. We have Gold Soldier who shows up. And he finds out that it's the the tower's fault that Doomsday was released. And they wanted Doomsday to kill Superman. However, you know, things didn't go out so well. Axdu, the Phantom King, is actually the one they come face to face with, and he's the one that, what's her name, Harrow reached out to from the tower, and he's the one that helped her release, first of all, he gave her the technology for Gold Soldier, and then he's the one that released Doomsday. So, basically, he's the one that knows. Wonder Woman asks if there's a cure, he says there's no cure, there's nothing that can be done. So basically, she drags him out of the Phantom Zone. To be continued in Superman, issue 31. So she drags him out of the Phantom Zone to get some answers. So basically, now we have a Phantom Zone prisoner in the Fortress of Solitude, and Superman is slowly deteriorating. This is a nice side issue, but once again, it's a side issue. There's no Superman in this book. It's strictly Batman teaming up with Wonder Woman and Krypto to try to find a way to cure Clark. And that's that. It's not Jay Lee, though, so that's why it's in the review.
Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 31. The real Lobo, not the new Lobo, makes a debut in this comic book. And he's after Red Arrow. From what we saw.
His name is Arsenal.
Oh, his name's Arsenal?
Yeah, they call him Arsenal right now. Oh. He's not Red Arrow yet. Excuse me a moment.
Oh, okay. So, here's some artwork. And basically, he's just saying, you know, about, like, you know, how he just wants to, you know, kill the planets, basically, do all the plans. And meanwhile, Jason Todd and, oh, what's that one's name? Starfire, thank you, are trying to find a way to save the Red Arrow. So
Arsenal.
I call him Red Arrow.
He's not Red Arrow.
Or whatever. Anyway, so I mean, the artwork's like really amazing. I will say that much. And it's basically now the three of them against Lobo and the other people who we saw from previous issues before that. And the fight between Jason Todd and Lobo was really interesting. Even Arsenal, who does something very smart. If you want to see what he did, definitely read the comic book. It's some they use of the nanotech, and he explains more about that, so you'll definitely read that. But Lobo doesn't seem to be done yet, because he looks like that he might find a way out, and here's the ending, where the other Lobo says, I think it's about time I had a word with this guy, and he means the other Lobo. Now, I hope that those two will confront each other.
Finally.
Because I've been waiting for that. And if it happens, I'm staying on board. And if it doesn't, if it goes down south, then this is going down and out in my drop pile. So
that's
it's
exactly what will happen
improving.
here if Jay Lee comes
Right.
when Jay Lee comes back.
It's improving, and it's getting a little bit better. But if it's not going to get better, and if I have to wait another few months for something that's not going to happen, it goes goodbye until it happens.
Now, before we get into the weeklies and the main event, or the big event from DC, let's go into my favorite book that isn't connected to anything right now, and that's Sinestro, issue number 2. So, Sinestro versus Arkillo. And, of course, Sinestro wins, because he's stronger than Arkillo. But now, Sinestro has to deal with all these new Yellow Lanterns that Arkillo basically brought in. Some of them still believe in Arkillo and don't want to work, don't want to be a part of the Sinestro Corps and have Sinestro as a leader. Others, he feels like he can mold and help them. He saves Saronic. He shows her that there are other Corrigarians out there. He wants her to stay on to basically be his doctor for right now. And she's actually the one that treats Arkillo after his failed fight against Sinestro. While Sinestro goes out looking for a new planet for the Corrigarians as well as the Sinestro Corps. And he actually has members of the Sinestro Corps help weed out the members that are going to turn on Sinestro the moment he turns his back on them. And the ones he feels he can mold or have promise, he's keeping around. He's keeping an eye on them, but he's keeping them around. This was an awesome issue without adding anything else. There's some other stuff that did happen in this issue, but again, check it out in this issue. I could not highly recommend Sinestro enough. It is definitely the strongest Lantern book out there right now. It's Sinestro, then Red Lanterns, then Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps are slowly clawing their ways back up, but right now Sinestro is just strong. Now we're into the weekly series. Batman Eternal issue 7 finally goes back to Batman, and I could sum this book up for you really easily. Batman versus Professor Pig. Professor Pig loses his lab. Carmine Falcone makes his move against the Penguin and the Ark, I believe it's called, or his I want to make sure I get it right. His come on. Iceberg is destroyed. The casino goes under. Catwoman's there. She basically saves the day. She saves people at least. She doesn't save Penguin. Penguin's too busy getting chased by some type of a killer whale. And you just have Batman jump. He shows up at the last moment. So Penguin lost his casino, and we still have Professor Pig out there. I feel like, I don't know, Batman Eternal's been going a little bit south lately. I mean, the first month's worth of issues was really good, and then we got like Tim Drake doing his thing, Batgirl going after Jim Gordon. We haven't seen Jim Gordon in over a month. Almost.
Really? I thought it was for a week.
No. So we've got Tim Drake dealing with the nanobots. We have Batwing dealing with the Joker's daughter in Conjuring, which please let that end first. Let that end fast.
No.
We've got so much else going on in this series. There are so many subplots to the main plot that this book is getting a little bit woo. So let's not go too crazy here, DC, and try to keep the main story in focus with other little plots here, there, and everywhere. Let's not go too overboard. I would like to see what's going on with Jim Gordon. I'd like to see what's going on in general, because right now all we know is Jim Gordon's in jail. Could be better. An average read at best. Again, this is a weekly series, so some are going to be good, some are going to be bad, some are going to be awful. It's just part of, this is going to be 52 issues. We are almost at issue 10. So we're almost 10 in. So it's one of those things where the weekly series are just like that. There's an up point, there's a down point, there's a left point, there's a right point. Future's End issue 3 is another one that Grifter is the most interesting character in this book. And that's scary because I dropped Grifter way back when it was an ongoing series from DC. But you have Mr. Terrific, who's looking into Batman Beyond. He sees Batman Beyond in his cameras. You have an older Frankenstein fighting a bear that has some type of a robot in it. Firestorm is still whining, and now he won't let Jason out. Basically, he's going to stay Firestorm forever. This way he doesn't have to deal with Jason or Jason betraying him somehow. And Jason says, if I ever get out, I will kill you. Like I said, Grifter is the main personality of this book. I would definitely say, and Dan Jurgens does the artwork for that, so that's really awesome. I love how they're talking about this fake Batman or Batman Beyond. And Mr. Terrific's like, we'll figure out something. I'll find a way to figure out who he is and capture him. And you got Terry McGinnis like right there. He handed Terry McGinnis money thinking he was poor. So good job, Mr. Terrific. And then the big, like, oh my god, is apparently Red Robin died sometime in the previous 5 years. And it turns out he's still alive. So basically every Robin Batman had died or was thought to be dead. Every single one now. Not one has escaped the whole he's either dead or he's believed to be dead. So, I don't know. Future's End was good. Same as Batman Eternal, you know, there's up points and down points. Right now, I feel like we have the first 3 issues, 0, 1, and 2, which were really good, built up a lot. Now we're kind of dealing with the after effects of what happened in issue 2, and hopefully things will be picking up again. But so far so good for the weeklies. I would say definite average reads at best. Not bad, not spectacular, but average. So now we're into the big event that is a month late. Forever Evil issue number 7, which is followed by Justice League of America and Justice League. So that's why they're not, that's why this is in first place and those are after this. So, Forever Evil. I'm going to give you the biggest abbreviated version possible in case you missed this. But Dick isn't dead. It turns out that Lex Luthor kind of faked Dick's death. This way they didn't die. Cyborg shows up. He beat Grid. You have Alexander Luthor, who is basically Shazam. And big spoiler here, he is the father to Supergirl, Superwoman's baby. Saw that coming. And Ultraman and him get into a fight. Ultraman cowers away. And then he destroys Deathstorm. Alexander Luthor destroys Deathstorm. And then it becomes Lex Luthor and his band of villains versus Alexander Luthor, who is now Deathstorm, Johnny Quick, and Shazam, or Reverse Shazam combined. Spoiler here, he kills Bizarro, but Lex is going to build another Bizarro. And I'm not going to give the plan on how they figured to try to change Alexander back to normal, but apparently Lex Luthor's voice saying exactly what Alexander Luthor says turns him back. He kills Alexander Luthor. Ultraman shows up, but that's where the tide changes. The Justice League is freed thanks to Batman, Cyborg, and Catwoman, and the sun is back, and Ultraman basically is powerless. All the rest of the Justice League is dead. Owlman is somewhere out there, and Superwoman is also in jail. We get to see Ted Kord at the end of the book. We don't know where Element Girl or Vibe is. And Lex Luthor, spoiler alert, figures out Batman is Bruce Wayne due to the whole Dick Grayson connection. And we find out who the person who was threatening Earth 3 was. But I'm not going to say who it is, because you need to read this book. All in all, I feel like this was a rushed issue. I feel like, you know, DC knew what they were doing. DC already knew they were a month late. So it looked like they rushed to get this book done. The artwork is done awesome, by the way. David Finch has really awesome artwork in this book. But the story feels like they knew they had to run. They knew they had to finish. So they literally rushed Forever Evil 7. I remember Jeff Johns said the reason it was delayed was because they wanted to put extra pages in. And even with the extra pages, there are still plot holes, there are still questions. and it just felt like it was rushed. So at best, I would say this is a 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 3.5 out of 5 stars. Not the best ending, but at the same time, it was a good miniseries in whole. It's just the ending was it kind of fell flat and it felt rushed. So next is yours, and then I think we're gonna have to go into
Forever Evil, the last issue of Justice League of America, issue number 14, which leads into Justice League United, issue number 1,
which we've already read, issue 0 and 1.
Right. So what happens in this issue is this. It starts off where Stargirl and Steve Trevor have a big talk with each other. First of all, this one's a really nice page. Like, thought I would never see this page happen, but it actually is happening. And it's like a long, big dialogue. We also have Jean Jones, who is looking for Stargirl. And with that, Catwoman is in this as well. And she looks up some August database information and stuff like that. And, you know, we get some Simon Baz action with
which
Green
we haven't
Lantern.
seen him since frickin', I forgot what issue of Green Lantern.
Yeah, and Green Owl's like saying, you know, hey, you know, the government's dissolving a team and we could change that if you would like to join a new team and everything. And he says that, you know, that he doesn't have the time. Then he tries to go to Katana and asks her if she can join, and her answer looks like to be a no. So that's 2 rejections. And here is Amanda Waller. I hate her guts so much. And she's just saying, you know, Stargirl, I know where she is. She's talking to Steve Trevor.
And it turns out we found out where Vibe and Element Woman are in this book. Vibe looks like he's running from something, and Element Woman looks like she's an element in the sky somewhere.
Yeah. And they have a long talk, and if you want to know what it is, definitely read the book to find out. Meanwhile, and at the end, it just, you know, ends off where Stargirl and John Jones fly off, and that continues in Justice League United, which is on sale now.
0 and 1 are on sale now.
Indeed. So, if you want to find out the ending to this, and if you've been reading it all along, definitely pick this up.
Okay, now give us just 1 second, and I will conclude this week's review. We just want to do a really quick switch over. Okay, and that last book is Justice League issue number 30, which feels like it came right after Forever Evil issue 7. Lex Luthor now feels like a good guy. Superman and the Justice League are trying their hardest to find a way to prove that Lex Luthor is that he's guilty, that he's still evil, he's still connected to this evil, what is it called, the Secret Society of Villains or whatever. Anyway, here's your Justice League now. So Lex Luthor ends up, that's 4 days. This is the present, where Lex Luthor's leading the Justice League against the Secret Society of Supervillains. But we go 4 days earlier, where Lex Luthor is being praised as a superhero. And like I said, Superman and the rest of the Justice League are trying to find a connection between Lex Luthor and the League of the Supervillains. And there is no connection. And we have what's his name? Captain Cold, who looks like he's going to be joining up soon with the Justice League. The whole Justice League's going crazy trying to figure out how to pin Lex Luthor down, like what he's planning at least. Turns out Lex Luthor rebuilt the Justice League satellite, and he wants to actually join up with the Justice League. And Wonder Woman basically uses her lasso, and she asks him why. He said, I'm an egomaniac, but at the same time, I want to put that aside. It doesn't matter. I see that Superman isn't the greatest danger to humanity. Whatever destroyed the crime syndicate's world and forced them to flee here is still out there. And together, we're the only ones that can stop it. Superman heard enough. He sends Lex Luthor away. And Lex is like, if you need me, you know where to find me. He leaves. We also get a little bit into the Power ring, which remember, Sinestro killed Power Ring, so now the ring is searching for a new host, which it does find a host. Her name is, I believe it's Jessica Drew, or Cruz. And the book ends where Forever Evil kind of set it up. Lex Luthor at Bruce Wayne's door. He rings the bell, Alfred answers, and he's like, tell Batman that Lex Luthor's here to see him, to be continued. So I guess this is going to be the explanation of how Batman, Captain Cold, and Shazam joined the Justice League. Actually, Lex Luthor called Shazam and had Shazam meet the Justice League and him at the satellite. They keep Shazam. They want Luthor gone. So now it's going to be interesting. Probably the blackmail of Lex Luthor knowing that Batman is Bruce Wayne is how Lex Luthor is going to be joining the Justice League. Who knows? But this was a solid final issue. It's about time. I mean, this month we're going to be getting Justice League issue 31 as well. We already have Justice League United, so we don't have to worry about that. But looking forward to seeing how the story itself pans out. And we all know Lex Luthor's still got, somewhere deep down, he's still Lex Luthor after all. So right now he wants to play hero. After the whole threat from Earth 3 finishes, we'll see if it continues. But I kind of do like seeing Lex Luthor on the side of, you know, the good guy side, especially after Smallville before he turned all dark. We all were hoping that Lex Luthor would kind of be good, and pre-New 52 there were moments where he was showing signs of being good, you know, so it's a nice change to see Lex Luthor on the good guy side for once. We'll see where it goes from here. Anyway, that's it for this review, guys. As always, don't forget to check out comic-related Comic Frontline and Zone4Podcast.com. Together we're your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Feel free to leave comments below, likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations. All are welcomed, and I will answer all of your guys' comments this Friday on the weekly comic book haul. That's where I will be answering them. All the comments for these videos are answered and mentioned on the weekly comic book haul, so definitely check it out if you do leave a comment to hear my reply or my answer to your question or your recommendation on there. So until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys in the next review.
Later, everyone.